Good evening, church. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you tonight. If you've ever received an email from me, you might have noticed my signature doesn't say sincerely or respectfully and then my name. Instead, it says fighting the good fight and then Brad Bratcher. I did this many years ago for two reasons. Number one was to let people know what I am trying to do in my own spiritual walk. And number two was to remind myself regularly that that is my goal. I want to be able to say, as Paul did in 2 Timothy 4, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. I even used specific words to indicate not that I was finished with the race, but that I was currently fighting the race and will be until I die. When I think of fighting in sports, my mind goes to boxing, of course. I've never been a boxer, but I have seen evidence of the amount of training that boxers go through to prepare for a fight. Maybe you've seen those scenes in the Rocky movies where it's just him training over and over and there's background music being played. But no matter what the sport, the level of training needed to be an elite athlete is astounding. Nikki and I started running this year, and although we have no intention of being elite athletes, we have tried to improve our pace and our distance. One thing we found that really helped was the right coach and the right plan. Since we didn't know any different when we started, we really loved the first coach we found through a running app. It gave us a plan, gave us great advice, and the proper motivation to keep it up until Nikki was even able to complete a half marathon last month. The advice we got in the running app was so good that I started writing some of it down because I knew I could use it in my own teaching career and in life itself. Then it hit me. Of course, it can be used to impact my spiritual race as well. We all have gifts and talents, but there are usually areas of our spiritual race that we wish we could do better. Maybe it's showing hospitality to others. Maybe it is your personal study of the Bible. Maybe it is talking to those around you who don't know Christ yet. Maybe it is stewarding your finances. Whatever the area, I found that the running advice can help in all of those areas. What I'm going to tell you tonight is some of that running advice. It's not new information, and I don't think you'll be blown away by my insight. But hopefully you can see how this advice that is drawn from running can be applied to many important areas of our spiritual race. I like when the coach on our running app gives advice and then says, I'm talking about running, but I'm also not talking about running. That's what this advice does for me. So here, in random order, is what I've learned from running and how I think the proper training can make us better disciples of Christ. Number one, push play. Almost every training run we did, the coach would start by saying something like, you pushed play. In other words, you stepped to the starting line and started running. He was always so proud that we completed that little step. Sometimes we are overwhelmed with the overall task of improving that we don't just focus on getting started. Want to read through the Bible? Start by opening it. Number two, when training for a race, every day is a step closer to a successful race day. The last day. In our spiritual race, there is no race day where we can stop training. Instead, our race day is our last day. That is when we can say, I've finished the race. 3, self-denial squashes all motivation. Don't think you can run 30 minutes today? Then run 10. Don't think you can pray for everyone today? Then pray for someone. 4, get a coach. There are plenty of other Christians who have raced longer than you, and they have great advice for how to keep going and for what to do next. What is your next step in your spiritual race? Get counsel to help you discover it. 5, run with others. I enjoy running by myself, but running with Nikki is even better. We joke and we encourage. Want to laugh and find encouragement in your spiritual race? Join a small group, start a Bible study, volunteer with friends. 6, the only step that matters is the next one. When running, don't worry about your long run that happens in 5 days. Complete your short run today. Need to get your finances in order? Start tracking your spending. That's the only step that matters right now. 7. Small improvements lead to huge results. Running an extra 2 minutes today helps you run an extra 10 minutes later in your training. Need to stop gossiping? Squash the desire with little gossip, and the bigger gossip will be easier to avoid. 8. You are stronger at the end than at the beginning. This goes along with making small improvements. Finding a task difficult, like talking to a visitor at worship, once you've done it, you're stronger and it's easier to do the next time. 9. How you approach a run or your spiritual race is vital to success. Try sharing Christ with others if you have a bad attitude. It doesn't work. 10. While training, be consistent, strict, and disciplined. Working towards your goal every day is much better than doing all the work in one day. A 90-day Bible reading plan is much better than a one-day plan. 11. Your work inspires others. Nikki's success in running makes me want to run more. Our success together has made some of our friends start running. Your success in your spiritual race will inspire too. Talk about it. Share what God has done in your life and encourage others to share with you. Invite neighbors or new members of Netherwood to your home for dinner. They might be inspired to invite people to their home as well. 12. Take note of the results. Did you finish your longest run to date? Remember weeks ago when that seemed impossible? How do you feel now? Remember when saving for that car seemed impossible? How did it feel to pay for it in cash? What other results have you seen by training hard? Easier decision making? More peace? More joy? Better relationships? 13. Use the warm-up to turn off everything else and turn on the runner. Without a good warm-up, running is hard and can be damaging. How do you start your day spiritually? In God's Word? In prayer? The first thought or action can make all the difference in the rest of your day. 14. Every run has a purpose. What are you trying to accomplish in this specific training? In our spiritual race, will this activity glorify God, draw me closer to Him, share His love with others? Sometimes we may not even know the impact on others that our race has, but they may feel it, and that accomplished God's purpose for that interaction. 15. Challenges are fun. Challenges make you stronger. The greater the challenge, the greater the fun. In running or in other activities, it is fun to say, "Look what I did." But in our spiritual race, it's even more fun to say, "Look what God did." We train our whole lives for something, whether it's school or for a job, even our hobbies. There are lessons to be learned in all of them. For my life right now, I like the thought of training to be a better disciple of Christ. I hope that you may have found an idea to apply to your own life. Whatever area of your spiritual life you want to improve, may you commit to the goal, accomplish your daily training, and do as it says in Hebrews, and run with perseverance the race marked out for you. Thank you.